Are you serious? Are you serious? Russia is about to win the Middle East battle over the United States. And as Obama goes drifting somewhere into the twilight of his legacy, he'll leave us with a disaster created by his own administration in the Middle East. His Arab Spring of democracy has done nothing more than create Middle East madness, with the toppling of Tunisia's President Ben Ali and Hosni Mubarak of Egypt, Muammar Gaddafi of Libya, and Ali al-Saleh of Yemen, then trying to topple Assad in Syria. And for 5 years, that nasty civil war has left over 1.5 million people scattered around the world in refugee camps and in traumatic situations, and over 250,000 people slaughtered at the hands of ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Assad, the Free Syrian Army, the Russians, the Iranians, the Americans, the British, and everybody else that thought they needed to take a shot at it. At the end, Obama's going to drift away. Trump's going to agree with Putin. Go ahead. Let's stop the needless killing. Take it. We got other things to do. And this is what's going to happen. Aleppo is almost defeated. They may fall even before Trump gets in office. If they don't, they'll fall very. It's just over. It's over. Russia has won. And again, Vladimir Putin outmaneuvered Barack Obama on the world stage, militarily, economically, diplomatically, spiritually, and any other way, I guess. Financially, everything. And Obama will finally go off into the sunset. Well, U.S.-backed moderate rebels lost. There would have never been a civil war in Syria if Obama and Hillary Clinton hadn't demanded it and called for it. There would have never been an Arab Spring. We would have never had all this bloodshed. This has been a useless exercise. U.S.-backed moderate rebels' loss of the eastern half of Syria's largest city, Aleppo, which the guy running for president, I don't even remember his name now, Gary Johnson, he says, what's Aleppo? Imagine him running the country. Russian-backed government forces would be a defeat for President Barack Obama's efforts to promote democracy and defeat terrorism in the Middle East. U.S. officials have conceded this yesterday. Their grim assessment reflected the expectation that the last rebel-held districts of Aleppo, where tens of thousands of civilians are trapped, will soon fall to the Syrian armies supported by Russia, Iran, and Shiite Muslim militants from Iraq and Lebanon and elsewhere. The fall of eastern Aleppo will confront the United States with the reality that supporting a moderate opposition with any hope of becoming the future government of Syria is no longer a hope. It's over, in other words. And Donald Trump knows it. And Barack Obama knows he failed. The defeat would leave President-elect Donald Trump with less influence over the course of more than 5-year-long civil war that's likely to grind on, fueling greater instability, violent extremism, refugee flows. Just let Russia have it, which is what Trump is going to do. There's going to be a compromise somewhere. He's going to let him have it, but he's going to demand that they stay away from Israel. And then he's going to turn and say, now let's take a look at Europe. We got to come to a, we don't want to turn the battlefield to Europe now and Ukraine. Got to come up with some kind of a conclusion there. And maybe the trade-off is to Putin, you get to have Syria, you leave Israel alone, you can have control of all the oil, but you don't take Ukraine, okay? And maybe that's the trade-off. You can know this. There will be a meeting of the minds between President Donald Trump and President Vladimir Putin. We'll wait for that to happen. From a biblical prophecy standpoint, Damascus has basically become a ruinous heap. This 5-year civil war has destroyed Damascus, and it will take decades to rebuild it it has become no longer a city, but a ruinous heap. Isaiah 17, verse 1. Now, where does Bible prophecy take us from here? Well, it talks about an agreement, actually, between Egypt, Israel, and Syria, and a highway that will flow from Egypt all the way to Damascus, with Israel working with them. Now, that is in the same, in Isaiah. And so that has yet to come to pass. That must be phase 2 once this thing ends. All that's going on while the world is spinning out of control. And we're living in the last days. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to Bible prophecy. We're watching the destruction and the conclusion of a nasty wars of the Middle East. Let's wind it up. Pray for the people there. God bless.